Hello, welcome to the alternate point of view. My name is Tracey Lee, and I'm so excited that you are here. And I know it has been a hot minute, but we are back. And I know I said I was going to be doing YouTube full time, but guess what? Life happens, the economy sucks, and I have to work full time now. So we are only going to be able to be here once a week. The last video I did about Fabio Cementilli, and the video before that was about Raul Valle, and this video is continuing Raul Valle and his incredible, shocking verdict of not guilty. Or is it shocking? So I know I did a video about the teen fight, okay, that these kids had up in Connecticut. Okay, if you guys don't remember Raul Valle, let's go back and see what happened with this teen fight, y'all, because I want you to see the verdict. So let's recap about this entire case, and I want to hear what you guys think about it, what your thoughts are.
Will the defendant, Raul Valle, please rise and face the jury?
Here is Raul Valle.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
We have to go through the docket number 8.
Oh, it's not on here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so for those of you who don't remember, Raul Valle is the young man who was charged and tried for intentional, the taking of a life of Jimmy McGrath. Okay, Jimmy McGrath, you guys, was a young man who was at a party with a bunch of other kids in Connecticut. It was Shelton High against another high school, a prep school up there in Connecticut, that these kids were partying at. They were at a house. It started out at one house. Okay. It ended up at another house. Okay. These kids, apparently the Shelton kids, the St. Joe's kids were at one house partying it up with St. Joe's kids, a lacrosse team. Okay. A girls lacrosse team. And the girls lacrosse team was having a party. The guys were over there having a party with them, and it was getting a little out of hand. And the girls were like, "Hey guys, if anybody else shows up, and we need you to keep them out of the house, keep them away." And so those guys were like, "Yeah, we'll do that." Right. And so some other guys showed up from another school, and this was the Shelton kids. The Shelton kids show up, and they have beer. And the kids, the guys that are told to like stop these guys from coming in, don't let any more kids show up, they say, "You guys can't come in to this party." Well, but give us your beer. Basically, you give us your beer, and not one beer, the whole case of beer. So they're like, "No, we're not giving you our beer, but we'll fight you for it. We'll fight for the beer." So they get into a fight, right? So apparently, Raul Valle, who has a motorcycle helmet on, he sucker punches one of the kids from Shelton High. And this starts a ripple effect of shenanigans. So the family that owns the home, the mother, she decides, you know what, this is enough. Everybody has to leave. But she gives the drinks back to the kids. She's like, "Y'all got to go. Get out. Everybody leave." So she kicks all the kids out, the Shelton High and the St. Joe's kids. And she says, "Y'all got to go. Everybody's got to go." So everybody leaves, and they're all scattering. Everybody's catching rides with whoever they can catch rides with. And they're all looking for another party to go to. Where else can we go? Where else can we hang out? So what happens is the Shelton kids are like, "Oh, hell no. You kicked us out of this party, took our beers, sucker punched us. We want to finish this. We're going to get our buddies to take St. Joe's kids and get back." So they started a text chain and started talking smack to the St. Joe's kids. And we're like, "Come on over to this address so we can whoop your butt and we're going to fight. Come get us where you can't sucker punch us. We got 20, 30 guys over here. Come on over. So Raul Valle, the kid that you saw there being told he's not guilty, and his buddies are in a vehicle. There's about 7, 8 of them in a vehicle. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go over. Let's go. Let's go. They're all pumped up. Let's go. Let's go. And they go over to this guy, Tyler Sheridan's house. And he's having a party. And he has about 20 or 30 so people there. And they get in that cul-de-sac neighborhood with their vehicle. Raul Valle and his friends drive up, and all these kids come rushing out to the vehicle, and then they start pouncing on the vehicle and going nuts. And it's a chaotic scene. Chaotic is the running word in this entire trial. Every kid that gets on that stand is saying how chaotic it is. It's just chaotic. That seems to be the only word every person who gets on the stand seems to be able to say consistently. Otherwise, the only other thing everyone says on the stand consistently is says, I don't recall. I don't know. Their memory seems to just suddenly fizzle away. Except for the fact that Raul Valle, they do know for certain, is the only person apparently that was involved in this fight. No one else. Out of the 20 or 30 some odd people in this altercation, only Raul Valle was the one who came there to intentionally fight and intentionally take a life. No one else. Just Raul Valle, who is the only person who is on trial. None of those other kids, none of them wanted to get into a fight. None of them wanted to start a fight. None of them wanted to get into any type of altercation. None of them wanted to do anything. Nope. They were just all there innocently. Maybe not drinking. They don't recall. Maybe not playing beer pong. They don't recall. Maybe not there. They don't recall. Maybe they were in the yard. Maybe they were in the house. Maybe they were on the planet. Maybe they were, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. They don't recall. They don't know. But they do know that Raul Valle is the one who started it, chose to be there, chose to bring the knife, chose to do the stabby stab, chose everything. Raul Valle intentionally did it all. Not his friends who drove the vehicle, who was in the middle of the fight, who got immunity, who testified against him, and none of the kids who started the text chain, who went over to the bigger guy's house, older guy's house, and informed all of the bigger, older kids, hey, we're getting these dudes to come over here so we can whoop their butt. Nope, none of those kids. Nope, because they don't recall or don't remember. And, hey, we were just young and dumb and we didn't have any idea what was going on. And we just, I don't know. I don't recall. I have no idea. Nothing. And I don't know who was there. And I don't know. It may have been 20. It may have been 30. It could have been less than 20. I don't know. So Raul Valle, his life is on the line. He turned down, by the way, a 40-year plea deal to take this to trial. 40 years. Just imagine if he would have accepted a 40-year plea deal. 40 years. Okay. So I really am curious, what do you guys think about, he was 16 years old, 16. Okay. Now, this is to me a situation, you guys, of F around and find out and getting accountability, taking accountability for your actions. Okay. Now, is Raul Valle at fault for something? Yeah. He's at fault for being a stupid ass teenager. Yes. Are they all at fault for being stupid ass teenagers? Yes. Is it absolutely god awful and sad that Jimmy McGrath lost his life? Yes. Is it sad that 3 other teenagers, now let's not forget, 3 other teenagers were also pricked in this fight? And he was also found not guilty on those charges. And the reason I think people are having an issue with this is because he was found not guilty. But the prosecution was going for intentional, with intent, maliciousness. Raul Valle did not go there and say, I am going to intentionally take away Jimmy McGrath off of this planet. And that is the key here. I'm going to maliciously take this person off of the planet. That's not what he went there to do. That's not what happened. These stupid kids thought, I'm going to be so cool and I'm going to get into this fight and we're going to beat these kids up. We're going to win and it's going to be us against them. And we got more of us and less of them. And that's what they thought. And they effed around and found out. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's basically what happened. And apparently, this is a every kind of weekend thing. These kids are having these parties at these people's houses. And they're having drinks. And they're playing games. And I'm not saying, like every time you have a drinking party at your friend's house that you should expect to get into a fight in the front yard and somebody could possibly go away. That's not what I'm saying. But these are things, like you have to think, man, when I was younger, I mean, god dang, some of the dumb shit I did, like, could possibly have had repercussions. Like, oh my gosh, y'all, you can't possibly think for a second that you couldn't have done something so stupid. Somebody couldn't have passed away. But you don't think that when you're 16. You don't think that when you're 17. You really, really, really don't think. And some things just are tragic, horrific things. And it just isn't somebody's else's fault per se. Is it stupid? Is it a horrific thing? Is it an intentional homicide? No. Is it a life lesson that is going to be forever with that person? Yes. Is it something that these other kids should take accountability for? Yes. Do you think they learned anything from it? Probably not, because each and every one of those kids got up there on that stand and every single one of them pointed the finger at Raul Valle, and not a single one of them took accountability for their actions. Not a single one. They all sat up there on that stand. Every single one of them. And they all pointed their fingers at Raul Valle. And not a single one of them took accountability for the fact that they started that text message chain, that they participated in the chain, that they went out there into that roadway and they bounced up and down on the vehicle, that they crashed the windshield, that they were throwing things at the vehicle, that they participated in the brawl. That was a brawl. One of the kids, Tyler DeSalve, he ended up in the hospital. He had a concussion, cracked ribs. He was beaten. It was a brawl. So, Agnon, you don't sit there and tell me that if you were sitting there, if you had a way to get out of the situation, I'm not saying that this is how the prosecution made it sound. Was like, oh, he took a knife to a fist fight. Dude, you have 20 plus people on top of you. I mean, it sucks. It's bad. I'm just saying. But like there's 20 something people on top of you. What are you going to do? Don't get me wrong. It was a weak looking fight, but there's still like 20 plus people. And one of the kids had to go to the hospital. He had contusions and a concussion. And I mean, he was getting his butt whooped. And Raul Valle ended that. He stopped it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And he just was, I don't know what he was doing, how he got that many people, but he did. So the jury followed the instruction. It was with intent and maliciousness, and the prosecution went hard on Raul Valle. They just went face first and did not think this through. I think they, I feel like they should have, if they wanted a real conviction, if they wanted someone to really be held accountable. I mean, honestly, you got to look at, like, I know people are like, I'd rather my kid be at home doing this stuff than out somewhere. But these kids were at an adult's house, acting like fools. Where were the adults? If you know your kid is going to somebody's house every weekend and acting like idiot, where are you? I mean, you've got to understand these kids need to take accountability for their actions. What are you teaching your kid by having them point the finger at one specific person? Then you're not teaching your kid that they need to take accountability for their actions. So I listened to these kids on the stand. I listened to every single one of them sit up there and point their fingers at Raul Valle. And I listened to the jury foreman say that they listened, that basically the reason why they came up with the not guilty verdict was because of the inconsistencies in the trial. That every witness was so, they couldn't recall, they couldn't remember, that they didn't have the same story. That each and every one of them got up there and wasn't saying anything of value. And it was very unbelievable. They couldn't believe what these kids were saying. And that's why they couldn't just put it all onto Raul Valle. That here these kids are saying, I don't know, I don't recall, I don't know who was beside you, I don't know who walked out with you, I don't know who was there, I don't know. I mean, you were there. You walked out the door with who was there? Oh, I don't know. Who'd you get in the car with? Oh, I don't know. Literally in the vehicle with Raul Valle, Jack Schneider, his friend, is sitting in there with him. Jack Schneider can't remember where he was sitting in the car or what Raul Valle looked like when he got in the car, where Raul Valle was sitting in the car. No one knows where they were sitting in the vehicles, what they looked like, who said, like, you don't know. You don't know where you were sitting? Nope. Were you sitting on the passenger side or the driver's side? I don't know. Were you sitting in the front seat or the back seat? I don't know. Were you sitting beside the driver, behind the driver? I don't know. But you do know that he purposefully did this. Yep. And apparently Raul Valle was the only one who was the aggressor. So he was so pissed about an altercation that happened at another party that he didn't even initiate, that he wanted to go to another house and go over there and just like stab a bunch of other people. Does that make sense? So the inconsistencies in these stories is just unreal. Unreal. I want to show you the kid who started the text chain. His testimony is, I mean, watching him it's a gem. He's a gem. He's a winner. Winner. Griffin Maserchik. I don't even know how to say his name, but he's all of these kids. And I just want to also say, I think I showed this in the last video that I made, was this kid, because he was just constantly, I do not recall. I do not recall. Yeah, he's a winner.
Over to the Lifers house, correct?
Yes.
And that was 5 Lazy Brook Road.
Yes.
And you knew that they were having a party there, correct?
Yes.
Where you expected that there would be more drinking going on, correct?
Potentially.
Well, when you arrived there, you knew that your friend, Mr. Lifer, was drunk to the point of being ill, correct?
I had found that out from them when I had arrived.
Because you didn't see him because he was in the back throwing up, correct?
I didn't see him because I wasn't allowed into the property by the defendant and his friends.
And you were driven to 5 Lazy Brook Road by a person named Tanner Chernowski, correct?
Yes.
And you described Tanner Chernowski as your cousin, correct?
Yeah. Not by blood, but essentially we've been family friends since we were young.
So he's not your blood cousin or relative, but you consider him so close as to be, you call him a cousin.
Yes.
Now, when you got there, you mentioned that there were some kids from St. Joe's at that party, correct?
Yeah, it was a St. Joe's party. Often attended St. Joe's, yes.
So most of the kids there were from St. Joe's, correct?
Yes.
You were not from St. Joe's?
No, I was not.
Nor was Ryan Hines, correct?
No.
Nor was Tanner Chernowski?
No.
And there were 4 kids there, but you from St. Joe's that you noticed, but only 3 of them who you could identify, correct?
Yeah.
And that was Jack Snyder, correct? Tyler De Silva, correct? And Raul Valle, correct? And you knew them to be St. Joe's kids, right?
Yes.
And you said that Mr. Hines had brought a 12-pack of beer with him?
Yes.
And that you began to go into the garage, correct?
Yes.
Could you see what was going on in the garage?
Yeah, the garage doors were open.
And there was a party going on in the garage, right?
They were inside, so they were really the only ones in the garage, maybe a couple other stragglers outside. But the party was in the house.
Nothing going on that you could see inside, like beer pong or any games?
No, door was shut. The way it's set up, you can't see into the house.
And you didn't know at that time who Jack Snyder, Tyler De Silva, or Raul Valle were, is that correct?
Not fully. I had known Snyder and De Silva just like through football, not like personally knew them, but I've heard the name before.
Okay. So at that point, when you saw them, you couldn't say what their names were. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
And at some point, you said that Jack Snyder went to grab Ryan Hines' beer, correct?
He did grab Ryan Hines' beer.
He grabs Ryan Hines' beer, and then you said the defendant didn't say anything, correct?
Not to my recollection. I don't recall what everyone was saying.
And that he was peripheral to Mr. Hines and Mr. Snyder, correct?
Yes.
And at some point, Mr. Hines and Mr. Snyder squared off, right?
Yeah.
As though they were going to have a fist fight or some sort of physical altercation.
They agreed to fight over the beer.
Okay. When you say they agreed to fight over the beer, were there any adults present at this point, or was this just...
witnessing this, no. I think maybe a parent or two. Both of them were home, but I know his mom was home.
And you claim that the first punch was thrown by the defendant?
Yes.
And that he punched Ryan Hines in the face from behind, correct?
Yes.
And you said that Hines then took Snyder to the ground?
Yes.
Now, you've described and you saw a photograph of Mr. Valle wearing a helmet, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he was also wearing some sort of a neck pillow. Did you see that?
Outside, I'm not too exactly sure.
So this is so Raul Valle is the complete, total aggressor in this entire situation. He did everything. He threw the first punch. He apparently he wasn't even the driver of the vehicle to go to the second location. But that kid on the stand is the one that started the text chain. Okay, started telling everybody at Shelton High, hey, we got jumped at the St. Joe's party. Everybody get together, meet us at, we're going to Tyler Sheridan's, basically, and then told the St. Joe's kids, hey, we're come over to such and such address. He literally put the address in. I was like, come over, meet us over here. Let's redo this. Let's do this again. And it happened. So it was basically like West Side Story, right? This is a whole West Side Story situation. They get into it and bam, look what happens. So it's tragic. It's awful. It happened, but you can't put it all off on one person. They all are culpable. Culpable. Everyone is. But that's the verdict. Okay, not guilty. I want to hear what you guys think about it. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that Raul Valle should have gotten guilty? The prosecution is thinking about taking him back for a lesser charge of, I believe, manslaughter of some sort. The jury was deadlocked on the lesser charges. They couldn't decide if they should basically split the baby, and that is give him a lower charge. This is really sad, and it is because, the other two guys that he was with did get immunity. They did walk away, basically putting it all off on him. He was defending his friends. This wasn't his fight. This was, basically they got into an altercation with a bunch of other guys from another school, and this wasn't supposed to turn out this way, but it did. Again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, F around and find out. They're trying to make it sound like Jimmy McGrath wasn't anywhere even involved in this fight. There's a small snippet of a video where the fight is actually happening, but you can't tell if Jimmy was in the fight at all. If he was before they have the video of him, before he gets, taken out, I don't know. But they're all involved. They're all involved in some way, shape, or form, cheering each other on or in the actual altercation. They're all involved. All these kids were having a good time getting into this situation. I don't know. I'm a parent. Let me know how you feel as a parent. Me as a parent, obviously, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of torn. Would I look at it, like if my kid went to a party and didn't come home, I honestly don't have a opinion on that. I don't have a point of view because I don't have a way I can say I feel about it, because I don't want to have a way I'd say I feel about it, because I don't want to even think about that. I'm just looking at this from a literal watching this trial perspective and looking at it from what the jury had to listen to, listening to these snotty little teenagers get on the stand and have such disrespect for the court and such disrespect for the process, and literally act like they weren't even there and have zero accountability for their actions, really pissed me off. But really appreciating the jury taking into account the instruction and understanding and really understanding the law, and appreciating that they listened to the law and heard that the prosecution was going for intentional maliciousness. And Raul Valle, I don't believe, had that intentional maliciousness. I do believe that, yes, there is some accountability and culpability, and he needs repercussions. They all do. Also, at the same time, Raul Valle was on trial, not those other kids. They were not on trial, but that's another thing. They're never going to be on trial. They got immunity. None of those other kids are going to be on trial. They're never going to get consequences or repercussions for their actions. Ever, never, ever. They'll always go through life thinking that they can do whatever the flip they want and get away with it. Always. And that's sad. So who knows what the hell else they'll do in their life and think they can get away with it. So we've just created future, who knows what's. That's what I see. So I just think that's sad. So I don't want to imagine what it would be like to be Jimmy McGrath's parents. I think it's very sad that Jimmy McGrath is gone for something so senseless. And I think that this is a lesson that wasn't learned. That's what I think this is. And I think that Jimmy McGrath died for just stupidity, pure and utter stupidity. And I hope some of those kids learned something from it. I don't think most of them did, but I hope some did. And I hope that maybe there will be something to come out of this. I think that Raul Valle learned something from this, and that is probably going to be like who he can trust in the future and who he can't, and who his friends are and who's not. And yeah, but I pray for Jimmy's family. I pray for all of these kids, and I hope they become better people as they get older. And I hope that the prosecution in Connecticut learns that you don't just go willy-nilly throwing around charges of intent and maliciousness for things that clearly are not, that there's a lot more people culpable than one person. And also, I hope that, we'll pray for the jury and hope that people on the jury, the foreman has been speaking out. I hope that everyone will not be ugly to the foreman or anyone else speaking out on the jury, because I think they did a really good job, like I said, interpreting the law. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are, your comments are. I really want to hear what your thoughts are about this case, because it does involve youth, kids that are now in their 20s, and they are going to college, and they're also getting degrees, you guys, in like entrepreneurship and like weird degrees that I'm just like, why? Like, isn't entrepreneurship just something you can just go do? Do you need a degree in that? I'm just asking for a friend. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video.